So, actually 1 year ago to the day, um, was what I now kinda consider my, not my first awakening, but kind of the most, transformative. Without getting into the details of how that all developed, what came out of it is, the only real way I think I can explain it is like this, kind of this almost like a rope that I know is pulling me in a direction. Like it feels like a North Star compass level thing. And, over the past year, that has, my life has really been transformed in so many ways, in good ways. So many things have been falling away. It's been mostly a process of just kind of evaluating as things come up. This morning, a year ago, I made my cup of coffee and I tasted it and I was like, "Man, this is vile." Like, wait a minute. Do I do I not like coffee? And that, like, uh, thing after thing after thing, it's, like, pointed me in this direction of questioning, and it's been a kind of, like I said, a compass. And, kind of identified that as that which persists, that which has always been true. Um, it's led me to be able to see through I guess the illusion of, like sitting in a movie theater, recognizing that I'm in a theater instead of being like invested in what's on the screen. So, it feels very real, very true when you talk about, um, like, being aware of the nature of consciousness, following that. My question, like, what are the what are the tests? Because the reality I was experiencing prior to this awakening also felt very, very real and true. And, you know, it feels to me like after mining through these experiences, it's like it points me at a bonfire and says, walk through the bonfire. And I'm like, no way that's going to hurt. And then okay, well, I have to go through it. And then I come through it. And instead of being burned up and scarred and in pain, it's like it burned away the part of me that needed to go. And so, like, it's that level of experience and truth. I said before I identified as consciousness, and really, I call it truth. Like, it feels like essential truth to me. But like I said, the reality before that experience also felt so true. And so I guess the question comes down to, like, how do I even know that this is actually true and not just another extension of the illusion of thought or um yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. If I can clarify more if it would be help, but that's the essence of my question.
So before I answer that, I'll ask another question. Why is that, why do you want to know that?
Um wow, that's a really good question. I guess because it's this awakening has really shaken me. The realization of what I've always thought to be real and true, even though I look back and I know that most of my life I've been aware of this deeper truth, this reality. Um, but for as good and as positive and important as it's been in my journey, um, I mean, it's really disorienting to call into question basically every element of who I am and, how I exist in this world, and so, um, if I'm making that level of like, if it's that level of transformation, of change, of, um, impact, I mean, I really kinda want it to be to be the right thing, the right thing. So,
Are you concerned about more change?
no, no, I wanna go after I wanna go all the way. I mean, not that I actually don't care anymore about, like, enlightenment or, like, it's not about that. It's just, like, if this feels right, but, like, if it's not, I don't wanna, like
Okay.
yeah.
So, um, what knows what knows the former person and the one now? And has that changed at all?
No, it hasn't. I mean, I can't say what knows because it's indescribable
Yeah,
with words.
yeah. But we use, I don't know if we use words to point to it, but don't really describe it. But you use the word truth. I'm happy with that. We can use whatever. But it doesn't change. And what I think's happening is a bit what I said earlier is as you recognize truth. So a lot of teachers don't really, maybe they don't really share this in this way, but okay. So a lot of the traditional or maybe neo advaita say I don't exist, right? I postulate that you do exist. You just don't exist as what you think you exist as. You're a separate self. You do exist because I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
right? But you don't exist with any independent origin. There's nowhere where you exist that isn't truth.
Mhm.
So you appear, exist means to stand apart from. So your shape on the screen right now, you are existing relative to the screen. The same with pure consciousness. You are existing in consciousness. When that separate self, which is existing, when awareness starts to pour through its recognition of itself, right? Because that's what's happening. It's quite, I've tried to explain it, but it's like every single being, sentient being on earth, is the absolute remembering itself. So when all the questions asked by everybody here is the absolute remember itself because it had to forget itself to become a person. Am I this? Is this what I'm? It's just the same absolute at different stages of self-recognition, a billion times, right? So, so what's happening here is that as you're recognizing yourself, it's changing the behavior of your separate self because it is affected by it. And the separate self thinks it still thinks it's consciousness. It still thinks, am I the truth? Like it's still trying to own, it's still trying to identify, it's still trying to be dominant
Mhm.
when you just let it go.
Mm.
Whether what who doesn't matter. Am I truth? Am I not truth? Thank you for having some thoughts. Doesn't matter. Just completely relax. Whatever you are, that's what you are. Whatever you're doing, that is truth. Well, you can't escape. I sometimes say you can't escape freedom. You can't you can't lie in truth, right?
Mm.
Everything you do is truth. And you just relax. This awakening never ends. There's no landing place. There's no landing place. I sometimes describe it as you're falling through the sky, but there is no land. It's just an infinite light. And once you start, so it just gets brighter and clearer and brighter and clearer and brighter and clearer, and it just doesn't stop. It just keeps on outshining. So what you can ask yourself when you have this question arise is, has the knowing changed? Because that is who you are. We are nothing but pure knowing. That is who you, and it never changes. It's always the same. Bright, present, self-illuminate, aware, available, open, expanded, eternal, never, ever, ever changes, not even one moment. But what appears within it is always in flux. And what appeared within it is its own dynamic energy. So the absolute has dynamic energy that's always moving like smoke. That's the world, right? And it it's always moving, but the knowing, the capacity to know that we are, never changes. We just have very, like, if I look at this tambourine, that not well, I've got a tambourine. Here's a tambourine. It's a very simple object. So it arises in consciousness. It doesn't disturb my separate self, and it goes away. And I just allow it to appear. But a thought, hello, who are you? Will, what are you doing? That's very, very, very interactive. So it's very easy for this knowing presence to go, oh, yeah, I think that. And suddenly the knowing presence only appears to be lost because of the way we describe it. But it can never be lost. Whatever it's looking at, that's what it's looking at. There is no lost. A little analogy is, if you've ever played those video games where you're driving the car and you've got the screen and there's a button and you're looking through the window, and there's a button and you're looking at the back of the car. We've learned through meditation practices that looking in the window is wrong because we're engaged, which is the football match question from Joe. So we press the button and we see the back of the car. Now we're being mindful, right? But they all occur on the screen. And the screen is the changing. So the screen is present 100%, whether it's looking through the windscreen or the back of the car. It's the same for us. If you're walking around with the candle in the meditation center, taking small steps, or look how mindful I'm being, and then you suddenly see the food feed being, and you're like, oh, I want to get there quickly. I can get the croissant, right? Now, but you're still just pure consciousness. The knowing is just knowing. So all of these flips from the front of the car to the back of the car is just what's occurring. It's just what's occurring. And you relax as the knower of it.
So I guess, I mean, that all that's really helpful. And so thank you.